I made a terrible mistake today. I clicked on Stream Advice TikTok. I know, horrifying. And not just because apparently the Chinese government is spying on me now, but because, boy, is that an outright mess of noise, desperation, and terrible advice. But it did get me thinking about the absolute worst advice when it comes to growing on Twitch. And I suddenly realized I am guilty as well. That's right, lock me up and throw away the key, because today we're breaking down 3 incredibly common pieces of advice that get given to new streamers almost daily that I think are terrible, even growth-ending pieces of advice. And 2 of them I have given in the past, so stay tuned for that. But let's get one of them out of the way straight away. I told you guys that once you started to reach that 15 to 20 average viewer mark, to start a community Discord for your stream. I even spent hours making template Discords that could be set up for you with just one click. I said it would help you build a community, keep viewers coming back, and help you control go live notifications because, well, Twitch go lives are notoriously inconsistent. And a lot of you guys followed that advice. But I don't think that's really a good idea anymore. Look, all of that is still accurate. It does help with the go lives, it does help build a sense of community, but also it is so much work to keep a Discord active. If you're a small creator just starting out, I honestly don't recommend starting a community Discord anymore. That is, unless you have moderators or friends who can help you run that server, who can organize and run community events and help chat to viewers. Because if you don't have people who can volunteer their time to do that, it means either you need to do it or the server just dies. And as a small creator, you really shouldn't have the time to run an entire server. You're better off spending that time creating content, posting YouTube shorts, filming videos, and of course, streaming. And just to really hammer this point home, I can show you 2 Discord communities that I run as an example. The first is my Eljay stream community. I tried so hard to keep this active. I tried bringing on mods and community volunteers to run events, funny meme channels, community challenges, you name it, I did it. I watched hours of videos, I talked to dozens of bigger partners, and nothing I did was able to keep things active outside of the hardcore regulars. Because of 2 reasons, I believe. The first is I just didn't have the time personally to run it, and volunteers didn't have it either. And the second was because there wasn't enough content that sent viewers to the Discord. But on the other hand, the Stream Scheme Discord has 80,000 members and is incredibly active every single day. But I didn't focus on events or activities in that Discord. Instead, I just made content. I didn't stop making content. I built an audience here on this channel and just kept sending them to the Discord. Now the entire thing is run by community volunteers, and I just keep making content and resources that keep new members coming in. And the reason those new members stay and don't leave the Discord is because they get great advice from the educators and other content creators in there. But mostly because of the counting channel. Most people just love talking in the counting channel and trying to count to 1,000. So don't make a Discord, make content. Focus on making as much content as you can. This solves all the problems the original advice was trying to fix. And once you have the resources to help you run a server, then you can start a community Discord server. Just make sure you include a counting channel. The next piece of advice isn't something I've told you guys to do, but it's advice from the TikTok that triggered me to write this script. And it's a mistake I listened to early on. And for some reason, years later, it's still getting said over and over, despite it literally being the cause of thousands of streamers getting banned. I am sure you've heard it as well, because it comes in 2 parts and people love to parrot it non-stop. Part 1 being, use whatever music you want, it helps keep the stream engaging and gives the artists exposure. And part 2 being, just use your VOD track to split your music off so the copyright music doesn't appear in your VOD and you can't get strikes because live strikes don't exist. When I first started streaming, I took this advice, specifically the first part of it. And I used a lot of hype anime music because I am a giant weeb. I also used a lot of video game soundtracks because I am a huge nerd. And because I did that, all of my original content was really engaging and fun. Nothing feels better than an epic moment in getting over it backed by the original Dragon Ball Z soundtrack. Let me show you what I mean, for example. Well, I'd like to show you what I mean, but all of my original streams got muted, and then I had to delete all of the clips and highlights from them off Twitch because I had to avoid copyright strikes. And back then, there wasn't the same support for VOD tracks either, so I couldn't just split my music off and out of the VOD. But even if I had, that doesn't actually mean I would be safe. I'm still breaking copyright. I'm still using another creator's work illegally. Live strikes exist, and over the lockdown, we saw it become more and more common that when people broke copyright while live, they could receive a live strike. We saw more and more creators warn us about companies creating tools to issue live strikes for music automatically. I don't know why streamers who are so hung up on making sure people don't steal their streams and content are so okay with trying to use other artists' copyright illegally, to the point where they confidently brag about splitting their audio up so they can get around it without getting caught. Like, you're still using copyrighted material illegally? What are you doing? If you're curious, as I said, yes, the TikTok that inspired this video was telling people to use copyrighted music. So upon seeing that, I did two things. I wrote this script, but I also contacted Epidemic Sound to sponsor the video and get you guys 30-day free trials, so you don't have an excuse about getting copyright strikes anymore. I already use Epidemic Sound for all of my music because of three main reasons. Straight away, the reason number one is just how big their library is. They have over 40,000 songs of every single genre and 90,000 sound effects that both fit under one license. And new songs constantly being added, so you never feel like you're using the same songs as everyone else. Reason number two, any content you post with their music or sound effects while on a trial or subscribe to them stays monetized forever. We are seeing a massive rise in music services from years ago suddenly striking creators because technically you don't have the rights after the subscription ends. But not Epidemic, because they own all their music and sound effects. Your published content stays safe forever. And the third reason is simply because it sounds like actual music, which I know sounds weird, but you know exactly what I mean. You've been there, clicking through tracks on a royalty-free site, and you just feel like something is wrong. Like the music is amateur or cheap. And that is the problem with almost all safe-to-use free music services. Their libraries aren't big enough, the music feels off, and you can't feel confident the videos will stay monetized forever. And on that note, Epidemic have given us a link in the description that gives you guys a 30-day free trial. So you can sign up and use any of their songs and sound effects to make amazing videos, shorts, TikToks. That's right, one license covers all platforms. And then when the 30 days are up, if you don't want to continue, everything you publish in those 30 days stays safe forever. But I think you'll see the value and stick around longer than 30 days. So click the link in the description and start creating. And with that, it is time for our third piece of terrible advice, which I am guilty of. I told you guys to make a schedule. I told you to go live the same days and same times every week with the same content that appeals to your audience. Be consistent, I said. Don't miss streams, I said. Stick to that schedule because that consistency is how you grow on Twitch, I said. And I stand by that. It's all true. But I don't recommend it anymore. You see, consistency does lead to growth, but it can also lead to an immense amount of stress, burnout, and one day you'll notice you're not eager to go live anymore, but you make a terrible decision. And no, it's not that you go check out Stream Advice TikTok, it's that you go live anyway. Because hey, consistency is how you grow on Twitch. And every time you go live when you actually don't want to go live, you get closer and closer to realizing you don't love going live anymore. I don't want to out streamers, but this is a story I hear every day from my friends who are partnered Twitch streamers. They tell me how tired they are, how burned out they are, how they just want to take time off, but they know that if they do that, they'll lose money, they'll lose viewers, and that's even more stressful for them, which means they're trapped. And that's what happened to me as well. So I will say the same thing I've said for years. Stream because you love it. Stream because you love interacting with viewers. Stream because it's a great way for you to be creative and impromptu and make fun content. But also create videos, create TikToks, or create YouTube shorts consistently on a schedule so that when you go live, it's because you want to and because you've built an audience offline that are keen to see you go live. And to do that, I recommend learning from Ludwig, one of the most talented creators in the past few years. So click this video all about what he does better than anyone else and what you can steal from him. I'll see you guys next week.